think I wanted to jump onto the operational side, which I think is slightly more exciting also, in terms of, obviously we have been talking about technical aspects, right? And how do you tackle that as and when you as a security team is building such a platform. Now I want to understand from your perspective, when you start building such a platform, how was it for you? Like, how many APIs did you build it for initially, or how many SaaS apps basically you wanted to cover? Was there like a pilot kind of a thing where you started small? What were the stages? How did you scale this, going forward?
Right. So what we are the problem, the whole SaaS security platform that we're talking about is kind of an inspiration from the project that we did at White Hat. Over there, the problem was more around communication between an internal application and a SaaS. That was the problem that we started to solve. Like when we started, that was the problem in mind that we have to solve it. So for that, what we saw was it can be like the problem was not just security; it was a problem on all facets. For example, a particular service running out of bands or throwing errors, and that was being utilized by multiple teams, but no one has the ownership of that. So the buck stops at platform team. That was my team at that point of time, right? So we need to have a platform-like solution for that. So that's when this whole SaaS gateway thing came into picture. So as you know, platform team, so many projects, very little, less number of people. So we decided to do a very quick project around it, at least to test out that it is simple or we will be able to get a good ROI from it. So what we did was we pick off the shelf components like AWS API Gateway and using the Lambda integration that it offers. And it was you can coordinate it out to a VPC. So we leveraged that, and all the header manipulation, etc., can be done.
Okay.
We took that, and in parallel, what we did was we built a standardized HTTP client library using our existing library. We just built a wrapper over it and started replacing with that library all the services, and that gave us, we built a switch inside that can give us directly communicate with the SaaS service or communicate via the SaaS gateway. So that was the switch that we had. And then what we did was slowly started integrating one SaaS service and started sending traffic via the gateway. And and on top of that, header manipulation enabled us to take care of authentication, for example, and authentication, and the initial the first handshake between the gateway and the microservice can be done in many ways. So we did that. So ultimately, with the help of this and sending all the metrics that were being generated from metrics, logs, access generated from the gateway, the SaaS gateway, we sent it to Datadog. That was the log and the APM tool that we were using, and it helped us discover many problems with our integrations, not just security. So, for example, which all SaaS tools are not adhering to their SLAs. They told us they will be of this much of time, but we are getting so many 5x's from them, right? Many times you start with a newer ones as well, which are not that mature. So, but we started discovering those problems. The time that their APIs were taking, when we were having our peak load, they started to breach the P99s that they had promised them. So we got to know about those. Then tallying the number of calls that we have made and number of calls that they received, or that gave us confidence that it is us only that is making that call, no one else. Because we were confident that the gateway can only be accessed from the VPC. No. So we got that confidence as well. Then we got to know what kind of data is being posted to which service. So we got visibility into that as well. So we put up a small data dashboard for it for all the SaaS services. We by the end we integrated around 25-30 various SaaS services that we were integrating with. And we were able to put that. And on top of this, only the whole SaaS vault was built, which was like
Okay.
taking care of the authentication. So as you can see, mm, this was a platform and on which a new SaaS app we could easily onboard in a matter of few hours to a day at max, right? And that gave us visibility, control of like any microservice interacting with an external SaaS app. So generally, you can call it like in technical terms, a terminating gateway. You don't want your workloads to have direct access to internet. You want it to go via terminating gateway. So this like we were not ultimately able to implement it during my tenure, but the plan was to ultimately cut off all kind of internet access from all the workloads that were running, so that even if someone is able to get access, they will not have a NAT gateway to set it to their own. If someone reaches your machine, they will not be able to send it or download it for themselves. So yeah, that was the like the implementation piece. And as for the performance part, you see what we were doing was pretty basic stuff. It was more like some header manipulation, proxy, manipulating the body a bit to adhere to the to just accomplish the you can say authentication bit. So ultimately, the performance impact was next to nothing. Like was the time spent used to be in microseconds. Like at worst, a millisecond or two that will extra will be added. So there was no performance penalty per se, and since it was like a managed API gateway by AWS, it scaled beautifully. Like, we never had to face any problem on the performance part, and it was built from that point of view itself, because we were not building something that we will release step by step. We had to replace or get in between an existing system. So all the aspects like security or performance were taken into consideration right from the beginning. And talking about the security aspect that led us to the whole building the vault piece, it also made me realize that here I am talking about the controlled interaction between an application and a SaaS app. Like everything has been manually scripted to happen in a particular fashion. And then so many things can happen. Right. But for the rest, like 80% of the other apps which were like having manual interaction and which were like we were using with off-the-shelf configuration. So what all can go wrong is like that's a crazy nightmare thought that and kind of became an inspiration that this is much bigger problem that needs to be solved and needs to be solved in a similar fashion as a horizontal, not like every time I need to buy a new SaaS app, I need to learn about all its configuration and learn about how to run it efficiently.